by the generous support of our viewers and the Coffee and Headlines is brought to you by the generous support of our viewers and the following community partners: Best Court Cutting TV, Bluford's Tax Preparation, Bravo's Restaurant Bar, Casas Antonieta in Yelapa, El Rey Lounge de Versalles, John Boutique Hotel and Co-work, Montzon Brewing Company, Puerto Vallarta Neurofeedback, Puerto Vallarta Owners Reps, and Siam Cocina Thai. Thank you for your support, and thank you for supporting our community partners.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Coffee and Headlines. Here we are once again, ready to connect with headlines from our city, state, and country, ready to connect with your comments, suggestions, ideas, and questions later on in the broadcast. I hope everybody is having a good day. Today is Wednesday, August the 20th, and it's a pleasure to be here with you this sunny morning, this warm morning. Today, we don't have a lot of news, but of course, when we don't have a lot of news, we make up with fun content. So, we're going to have a few news items to share, but then we're going to begin our unpacking of the Yalapa adventure. And today, we're going to take a quick look at Casa Antonieta. This is the walk around video that I took of the three casas where we stayed this past weekend. We're also going to start talking a little bit about Yelapa 101 if you've never been to Yelapa. In fact, just out of curiosity, if you've never been to Yelapa, just write never, just to get a sense as to how many folks that are watching live have actually been to Yelapa and how many have not. And last but not least, of course, we have another word of the week, which I have prepared for you. I love this word. And this word is in honor of a dear friend of mine who just got a new car. So what do we say in Spanish when you're wearing something new? A new hairdo, a new car, new glasses, new mindset. Well, that's exactly what this word is all about. We're going to tackle it later on. As always, if you have something important to say, just add a capital letter Q at the beginning of your comment, and that way we will take a close look at it during the comment section. And of course, if you are watching us live for the first time and you'd like a little friendly welcome from the cluster, all you have to do is add a capital letter N as in new, and then we will nicely, because we will just give you a welcome. Of course, we'll give you a nicely welcome. That's what we do here until we're not nice, which happens sometimes, but it's not going to happen today. Anyhow, let's get started with the news. Let me find my button, and boom, here we go. We start with Mayor Luis Munguía, who has stated that a consensus will be sought among merchants, residents, and business owners for the parking meter project. And he affirmed that although there's no rush, it will be implemented at some point. And here is a quote: "The controlled parking project in the historic center will definitely have to have a consensus among merchants, residents, and above all, business owners. There is no predetermined definition. What is clear is that it must be built in conjunction with the productive sector," the mayor stated. He also emphasized that the decision does not depend on an immediate time frame and could come during his administration. the next, or when there is the right moment and the necessary conciliation to move forward with this issue. So, what this means to me is that, at some point or another, the inevitability of getting additional funding for the city and the municipality through parking meters will be inevitable. It's just a matter of time for people being able to reach that consensus. So we might as well start getting used to it while we can. In other news, and after more than 30 weeks, 30 years actually, 30 years of waiting, the families living in the Los Sauces neighborhood are finally seeing two streets paved. Mayor Munguía inaugurated Grulla Street and Flamingo Street with brand new pavement, fulfilling a historic commitment to this particular neighborhood. I say congratulations. And last but not least, on our first block of news, according to the Meteorological Service in Mexico, the interaction of the Mexican monsoon in the northwest of the country, low pressure channels, a cyclonic circulation aloft, tropical wave 23 in the west, and tropical wave 24 over the southeast of the country will generate heavy rains. And in Puerto Vallarta, heavy stormy rainfall is expected later on today. I'm sorry, I just have to laugh about these forecasts because, I take the weather forecast seriously, and I'm sure that the people that are out there trying to foretell the weather are doing the best job they can. But this particular season, they haven't really delivered in accuracy, have they? Let's take a quick look at the weather forecast just to see what's happening out there. And Snarky Weatherman says, there, I just redirected a storm for you. This purchase is already paying off for you. Well, again, I'll believe it when I see it. Right now, we have 29 degrees and 75% humidity. For today, we can expect partly cloudy skies in the morning with thunderstorms in the afternoon, a chance of rain of 55%, a high of 32 and a low of 26. Then tomorrow, that chance of rain goes up to 72% with mostly cloudy skies in the morning and thunderstorms in the afternoon, a high of 31 and a low of 25. So it is possible that the weather forecast is one day off. And then the chance of rain increases by Friday to 89%, a high of 31 and a low of 24. Friday forecast says we're going to have rain in the morning with thunderstorms in the afternoon. I hope that's the case, but again, we will believe it when we see it. I thought you might want to know, moving right along, that our friend Selena Luna contacted me to do another spotlight interview to promote yet another show that she's producing at ActII Entertainment. This one is a tribute to Amy Winehouse, starring her daughter Patrice. Unfortunately, the show is this Saturday, and I couldn't guarantee that I'd have enough time to edit the interview, which would have taken place this Wednesday, as in today. And I wouldn't have enough time to guarantee that I'll be able to edit this by Saturday. So I told her, please send me some things. She hasn't, but I found this on Facebook anyway. In case you want to go to Amy Winehouse Forever, this is going to be a one-time only on Saturday evening at 7 p.m. at ActII. I believe this is going to be in the smaller theater in the Red Room, but I could be wrong. Again, we wish Selena the best with this particular show, and we're grateful that somebody is producing original shows for English speakers and Spanish speakers in the summer months here in Puerto Vallarta. Now, let us jump into Yelapa mindset. Now, let me quickly take a look at how many of you said you've never been to Yelapa. I see that Mark said never, and Glenn said never. And I see somebody celebrating a birthday. Happy birthday, Laura. I love it. So some of you haven't been, and some of you have been. Okay, Let me show you a photograph. Okay, first of all, as you know, Yelapa is in the South Shore. It is within Banderas Bay. It's one of several destinations in the South Shore that is only reachable by boat. I mean, there are dirt roads that go from El Tuito to Yelapa, but you would not want to be getting to Yelapa by way of those dirt roads. They are there and they are used, but as a tourist, you're going to get to Yelapa by boat. There's no going around that. Why? Because it's efficient, it's fast. It takes like 45 minutes to an hour to get there from Los Muertos Pier, a little less time if you leave from Boca de Tomatlan and take the water taxi there. And of course, this is a quick lay of the land. I'm taking this photo, right? And behind me is the beach. And there's a road that goes from the beach to the town, which is in this general area. Boom, boom. Over here is the main town. There's a pier on the main town, and there are shops and restaurants and more places to stay. So there is one road to get from the town to the beach, and this is the road that is used by pedestrians, by horses, and also by small cuatrimotos, or those four-wheeled small vehicles, of which there are a ton now in Yelapa, which is a good thing and a not so good thing. A good thing is because they can help you get around. And I must say, if you want to be spending any time in Yelapa beyond the beach, because a lot of people just go for the beach, go for the day and stay on the beach, you need to walk a lot and go uphill a lot. So if you have any mobility issues, Yelapa may not be the best choice for you. There's a lot of climbing, there's a lot of walking, et cetera, et cetera. Now, number two, I want to remind you as well that there are no private landowners in Yelapa. Yelapa is all handled through ejido ownership. The town belongs to the townspeople. So the way people have built structures around each other is kind of like a jigsaw puzzle, not different from, say, the houses that are built up high in El Centro here in Puerto Vallarta, where there's a lot of houses that seem to be built on top of one another. So architecture is wonky, it's whimsical, and it is fun to see how, after 10 years of not having been there, you can feel the density, but not so much the growth. It's just kind of like a labyrinth. And you'll see that when we bring the walking tours. The third thing that I have to mention is that in many of the older places to stay, you are always in touch with nature. I mean, nature is all around you, to the point that some of the casas have beds suspended from the ceiling to prevent bugs like scorpions and things like that to climb onto your bed in the middle of the night. It sounds funky and exotic, but I mention that as a matter of contrast, because you will find that the place where we stay, this is where we stayed. Where is it? There we go. Currently, that is where Casas Antonieta is located, and it's right on the road between the town and between the beach. It takes like 5 minutes to walk either way. And as you will see shortly, as I show you the video, there is, it's perfectly civilized. So let me show you the video that I put together for you to look at. And again, this is just a quick edit. I will be adding this video to our, well, first of all, another aspect of this story for those of you that didn't hear it before. Casas Antonieta is now a community partner of Coffee and Headlines because I have a long professional and friendship history with Alexis Velasco, whose family owns the Casas. Alexis, until very recently, worked at the Joint Boutique Hotel and Co-work, and then he quit to go pursue a scholarship in cultural tourism. And when he said to me, my expenses are going to be covered through the revenue from renting our 3 casas, I said to him, let me do something for you. I will build this landing page where we will have a description of your project. There's Alexis. And we will have a small mention of each one of the casitas with the Airbnb link, although it's less expensive to rent directly from Alexis at this number, just as an FYI. So there's casita number 1, casita number 2, and casita number 3. We built this so that we could support Alexis. And then, of course, our dear friend Michael Beaufort came along, community partner Michael Beaufort from Siam PV and Bravo's Restaurant. And it was Michael who said, I will sponsor the weekend stay for you to be able to record the videos that you bring back for us. So here is the first draft of those videos. This is a walk around of Casas Antonieta. And I want to show the lay of the land, and it starts right here.
There's magic in firsts.
Oh God, no,
Wearing a
not
brand
that
new
one,
shirt.
Not that one.
Sipping coffee from a fresh mug.
My bad. So here we are. This is what I want to show you. This is Casa Lolita, the smallest of the casas. It has its own little outdoor sitting area. And as you can see, you are surrounded by wildlife. As you enter the casa, this one is in 2 stories. And the low story has this general sitting area with a kitchen and a hammock. And there you have it. The kitchen is very well equipped. This particular casa did not have a microwave oven, but it has a toaster oven and has everything you need to make your own coffee in the morning. And this business of having a hammock inside the house, a lot of old casas here in Yelapa have the hooks. So it shouldn't be unusual if you've been in Puerto Vallarta for a long time. Then you go up these stairs and you get to the sleeping area, which is, of course, there's an air conditioner, which actually works for the whole house. So here is the upstairs of Casa Lolita. There's a ceiling fan above the bed and another one in this other sitting area. There's a futon there if you want to have an extra guest. The bed sleeps too. And here is the bathroom, very nicely appointed. If you see strange angular walls, that's because, again, all of downtown Yelapa is built like a jigsaw puzzle with all these casas built against one another. And Casa Lolita has this cute little balcony where you can have a slightly obstructed view of the ocean, but enough to take it all in. And of course, when you sit outside, you're constantly lullabied by the ocean surf. And the occasional, four-wheel motorcycle that is going around town. Yeah. And this is Casa Lolita. Also, all 3 casas are connected. They are within the same property, so you can just walk over to the next casa, which makes them ideal for groups, but also perfect if you're going by yourself. Here's Casa Antonieta right next door. And this is the simplest of all the casas. It's just one study, one room. But there's your air conditioning unit. There's your built-in kitchen. There is a bed. This one does not have an extra futon. But I love the shower on this one. Check this out. This is so funny because in order to get to the bathroom, you have to walk through the shower. It's the funkiest thing. So there's the toilet. And to go back, you have to walk through the shower. So we kept joking that if you're going to go number 2, instead of wiping, you might as well take a quick shower and cleanse yourself. Ooh, I did say that, didn't I? But hey, it is what it is. And this one has this great little sitting area right outside of the casa. And there's another smaller sitting area next to it that has a grill. If you wanted to do some grilling, you can do that here. And I'm getting homesick just thinking about the wonderful time that we spent there. And again, this one has an obstructed view of the ocean. And then we get to the bigger, newer casa, Casa Mitoña. This is the one where Lars and I stayed. And up there you can see the balcony. The balcony is right on top of the main road, so you can easily take a look at the ocean, and you can easily look down and look at the people that are walking by. We spent a lot of time sitting on this porch, and let me just tell you something really funny, or at least funny to me. We were sitting there the first night, and it was a little bit dark, so I brought out a flashlight. And it wasn't until the second day that we realized that this umbrella is solar powered. It has a solar sensor on the top, and it has a light switch, so it lights up at night, providing a really cozy atmosphere. So this is the view from Casa Mitoña. It was absolutely heavenly. You can see the ocean, you can see boats arriving and departing, and you can get a glimpse of the beach from up here. And this has a very spacious living area with a well-equipped kitchen. The air conditioner unit is upstairs, but it was enough to really keep the whole apartment comfortable during the nighttime. So here is the kitchen. Here is the view. No need in a place like this to have your bed suspended because it's very nicely enclosed. The restroom is downstairs. Again, a very angular shower, which goes to say about, you know, all the architecture being funky and wonderful. And then we go upstairs to see the sleeping area. And here we go. Sleeping area upstairs, and there's another balcony up here from which you have a slightly less obstructed view. And there we go. So this is, in a nutshell, the place where we stayed. It was absolutely wonderful. What is going to happen next is, of course, I will create a better narrative for this video, and I will append this video to the page that I showed you just a second ago, so that when people are interested in booking, they will also have this walking tour at their disposal. So we're almost done to take a look and almost ready to take a look at your comments. Before we do that, one more feature for you, and that is our word of the week, which is in honor of a dear friend of mine who got a new car. So what is the word that we use when you get a new something, when you go to a place for the first time? Check it out.
There's magic in firsts. Wearing a brand new shirt, sipping coffee from a fresh mug, stepping into a freshly painted room, imagining all the memories that will fill it, trying on sunglasses for the first summer day, or showing off a haircut that feels just right. In Spanish, there is a word for all these moments: estrenar. It's more than using something new. It's about debuting it, celebrating it, giving it a proper entrance. In Mexico, estrenar is everywhere. Buying a car and taking it for its first ride, moving into a new home and enjoying the space, trying a dish you've never tasted, visiting a city for the first time. Each moment deserves its own little ceremony. And sometimes we estrenar ourselves. Think of a quinceañera stepping into a new stage of life. It's not just about the dress or the dance. It's about presenting yourself in a fresh, radiant light. Graduating, starting a new job, finally embracing a dream you've worked for years to reach. That's estrenar. Celebrating beginnings, big or small. A reminder to notice, cherish, shine. For English-speaking locals in Mexico, perhaps it's time to estrenar a new mindset. Open, inclusive, curious about the culture around you. Excited to step fully into your new life here. Life in Mexico is full of firsts waiting to be celebrated. So this week, pause. Ask yourself, what will you estrenar?
Few guitarists have reshaped the sound of modern jazz like Pat Metheny. For over 5 decades, he's blended warmth, innovation, and global influences into music that transcends genre. Discovered at just 19 by vibraphonist Gary Burton, Metheny's talent took him from Missouri's heartland to the world stage. His early albums for the legendary ECM label set a new standard for sound and storytelling. With longtime collaborator Lyle Mays, Metheny created music that's both intricate and instantly recognizable. From the driving pulse of Phase Dance to the haunting beauty of Last Train Home, his work speaks without words. This special presentation by music storyteller Paco Ojeda explores his evolution, his collaborations, and the stories behind his most iconic works. Perfect timing before his upcoming live concert in Guadalajara. Join us for an evening of music appreciation and discovery. Tickets, 300 pesos at the Joint's reception desk. Reserve early. Space is limited.
And here we go. Let's take a quick look at your comments and see what you are thinking about. Before I do that, just a heads up, I received a lovely reminder from our dear friend Michael Bufford, who sponsored the stay at these beautiful casas, that his restaurants Bravo and Siam PV are closing until September 10 as of this Sunday. Lars and I are going to have dinner at one of his restaurants on Thursday in appreciation for this generous gift of allowing us to stay at the casa to be able to do the filming that we did. So there you have it. Let's take a look at your comments. I see lots of good mornings. Thank you very much. Let's see. Happy birthday, Laura. I'm so glad that you were pampered, that you were apapachado. I'm glad that husband apapachated you. Apapachated, I just made up. Te apapacharon en tu cumpleaños. You received apapachos on your birthday. That is wonderful. Muffin, is this a Yelapa-centric episode? Let me make an iced coffee and stick around for a while. Logan joined us for one of the 2 nights that we stayed. He found his own lodging like 3 minutes away from where we were staying. So it was wonderful. And I'm already going through withdrawal. Logan, I don't know about you. Mary says, gorgeous waterfall. We showed the waterfall at the beginning of this broadcast. I'll keep it around for the rest of the week. Going into the Yalapa Waterfall was precious. The water was so refreshing. We went twice. Some of us went 3 times. I went twice. We went the first time, and I'll show you all on the video. And it was crowded, so we had to go. We wanted to go the next morning when there was nobody there, and we had the waterfall all to ourselves for close to an hour. It was absolutely wonderful. Everybody say hello to Jeff. He is new. Hello, Jeff. Thank you for joining us. Please feel free to tell us a little bit more about yourself. Welcome to this crazy loving cluster. Everybody say hello to Jeff, please. And let's see what else we have. Boom, boom, boom. Peter says, never been to Yelapa because I like to be on terra firma. Yes, there is something to be said about people that don't get on boats. I respect that. And Laura says, can't wait for the Yelapa report. Well, it's going to continue to trickle during the next few days. I am editing footage as I can. Let's see what else we have. Oh, Chris, that is a beautiful thought. Wednesdays are date night for my wife and I. A couple of years back while wintering in PV, we started Wednesday date night. A couple of times we had to hold it on Thursday, but tradition continues. You know, I've had that tradition with spouses in the past. No matter what, there is one day of the week that we kept to ourselves. I think it's a beautiful tradition. Oh, and something that we did is one time I would plan the activity, and then the following week my partner would plan the activity. That way we felt there was a little bit of a balance there. Logan says, heavy storm rainfall, you say, me lo paso por el Arco del Triunfo. And we explained the Arco del Triunfo the other day. No need to explain it again, but we should bring that expression for discussion at some point. Yes, Logan, that means I'll believe it when I see it. And I hear you. I'll believe the rain when I actually feel it. Hello, Michael. Michael says, back in the days, years ago, you didn't need the weatherman because at 4 or 5 p.m. it rained daily. Now it's like never. I totally agree with you, Michael. Particularly this year, it's been really, really dry. Let's see what else. Would you go back to Yelapa again for longer? We loved it. You know, I would. I would in a heartbeat because I've discovered a property that fulfills 2 requirements for me. Actually more than 2. 3, there's privacy if you need it. Number 2, there's comfort, which is not outlandish comfort. It's not like the most luxurious stay, but it is very, very comfortable. And number 3, there is room for socializing. I mean, when you're traveling by yourself, if I was going back, I would be so happy on the smallest casita. Or if it was just like a low-key, I want to get away from it all because I want 2 or 3 days of productive work, I would go back in a heartbeat. But regardless, yes, I would go back to Yelapa before the winter season begins. Because once the winter season begins, Yelapa becomes dense of people, like Emiliano Zapata becomes dense of people in the fall and the winter and the early spring. Would I enjoy that? Probably not as much. But this time of year, in the middle of the summer, it was absolutely delicious. Hello, neighbor. Maria Velázquez Ammerman says, saludos desde Colonia Valentín Gómez Farías. That's the colonia right next door to mine. It is great to see you. Let's see what else. Logan chimes in. Unfortunately, Yelapa is not conducive to anyone with a mobility restriction. Even getting there, you have to be agile and able to climb and jump off the pier, pangas, and onto the beach, manage ladders. It is certainly not for everyone. That is certainly true. My hips and my calves were so sore for a couple of days. I was walking funny. And for me, it's just a pleasure to be reminded that I have muscles that I haven't exercised in a while. Let's see what else. Paula Pearson. Hello, Paula. Popped in late. Has anyone taken the bus there? I am going to answer no one because there is no bus to Yelapa. You can get as close to Boca de Tomatlan by bus, and from Boca de Tomatlan, you can take a water taxi. But no, there is no bus to Yelapa. I love all the vegetation and the view. You are completely surrounded. And Linda Ibarra, everybody say hello to Linda. It was such a pleasure to meet you yesterday. Yesterday, community partner Stan and I had lunch at El Puerco de Oro. And there was Linda with her husband, Daniel. They've just moved from Maryland to Puerto Vallarta, and they recognized me. It was a pleasure to have a brief conversation with you, Linda. I hope you enjoyed El Puerco de Oro as much as I do. It's one of my go-to taco places, and I hope you will join us on the broadcast whenever you want. You know, you can find all kinds of helpful advice and commentary here for anyone that is just getting acclimated to living in Puerto Vallarta, particularly during the summer months. How wonderful. Karen says, Scooter and I are talking about staying there a night or two next time. Beautiful place. Thank you for sharing. It will be my pleasure to continue supporting Alexis as he raises money for his scholarship and for furthering his studies in cultural tourism. Let's see. I think we're done. Yes, I think we're done for today. Let me find my buttons. There you go. This is what you use if you want to support Coffee and Headlines through a membership, monthly or annual, through occasional coffees. If you find something useful, valuable, inspiring here, if you find a great connection, that's what we're here for. You can always subscribe to our channels, forward our content to your friends, talk about what we do here. It is always so much appreciated that you do. Today is Wednesday. There are no spotlight interviews today. Nobody signed up, and that's perfectly fine because I still have a lot of catch up to do for Pat Metheny tomorrow. So I will see you back here tomorrow morning with more coffee, more headlines, and more stories. Have a great Wednesday.